broke and famous, trying to figure out what my goals and aims is.
And we're back. Welcome to Correct Me If I'm Wrong, a podcast where me, John George, my friends Dakin Updegraff, Matthew Markham, and Michael Carey correct each other's opinions. Basically, we just all go around, say an opinion, and argue about it.
Just had a thought. Shouldn't we introduce ourselves with our own names, since people probably don't know which voice is whose?
Yeah, go.
I'm John George.
I'm kidding. My name is Brock Hayden.
I am Dakin.
Oh yeah, that's Dakin. I'm Michael Carey.
This is why I just say the names, all right?
See what
You guys aren't good. You guys don't remember your names.
I like basketball.
And Matt doesn't want to say his name.
Huh? There you go. You
That's
said my
Matt.
name.
That's Matt. Yeah, that's actually smart. Last episode, people probably didn't connect it too well. But we're back after figuring out who pooped the bed. Right, and a great episode. We're back. Dakin was not too talkative, but we're trying to please him by giving him good topics this time, right, boys?
Yeah, I've been receiving reviews from the fans that my topics were the lowest so far.
Yeah.
But,
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're never too old to like Charizard.
well, well, I was told no more Pokemon on my podcast, the podcast. So
Yep.
we're gonna move on from that.
Yep, and he is fired.
Oh, I wasn't told about that.
Awkward. Yeah, I don't know why he's still here. But, okay. Michael, you want to go first anyways?
Sure, why not?
Redemption right away.
All right, so this week I was thinking a lot about generational differences and how each generation is kind of defined differently based on what happens politically and the state of the world, such as wars and things like that. And one thing that I've been looking at for this generation is the advancements in technology. So correct me if I'm wrong, but smartphones do more bad than good for college-age kids and under.
Disagree. Go fuck yourself.
You can't say the F word on the podcast, Matt.
But you can. I like it.
Yeah.
I like when you do. But
But I'll go first. Since
I'll go first. All right.
So I would have to correct Michael because if we didn't have smartphones, we'd be way behind the curve on everybody else. And it's just like not practical to not use a smartphone. Like pretty much any job that you work, you're going to be able to use a smartphone. Like even if you watch reporters now, they just read straight off their phones or something like that. And like if you're working as like a doctor or something like that, you can just look stuff up. And I mean, it's easier to just use your phone than use a computer. So
Yeah. Actually I feel like we did have this topic in like season 1 or whatever you want, but it's deleted now, so it doesn't count. But I agree with Dakin, but I think some people misuse a smartphone. I do. And I feel like there's always going to be a person that misuses technology and misuses something. But I like the way I use my smartphone, which is to look up helpful information. And I use it not too often anymore. But only I think the misuse comes in only communicating with people via smartphones and getting attached to your smartphone and being obsessed with social media like Twitter and Snapchat and Instagram and stuff like that.
See, that's why, like in my statement, I said for college-age kids and under. So I feel like a lot of high schoolers and even middle schoolers and below are really becoming reliant on that as their their go-to form of communication. And so I think in the future they're going to have a lot more difficulty speaking with people and just being able to conduct an interview and be able to work with customers if they go into like a business. And like Dakin mentioned, like for a doctor or someone at a higher maturity level, I feel like a smartphone can be very, very beneficial because there's more that you can get out of it. But I just think that it takes away from a lot of the kind of social interactions that we went through growing up.
I mean, so like what Michael just said is really similar to what we talked about before on the last season. But also, I don't really think that like technology is a bad thing. I don't think it's like maybe social skills, that's why it's bad, but we've kind of said that before. But other than that, I can't really say it's bad. And also, he mentioned something about the generational differences in technology, and I kind of don't agree with that because each generation is going to have its own technology. What we have now is way cooler, way faster, but you can go all the way back to inventing a watch and stuff. That's technology. It's just or a jukebox or a CD player that that plays the records and stuff like that. That's technology. It's just not as cool as what we have now.
So you don't think there's a gap between generations that's creating a social barrier?
No, because I think older people can learn to use this, and a lot of people do. I just think there are illiterate people or ignorant people that don't even want to try, but I think you can if you wanted to learn how to use the stuff that we use. And also in the future, we're going to be way behind what kids are using at our age.
Yeah, we sort of talked about that last week, but it's not necessarily a bad thing that, the different generations change as technology changes with them.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I'm just saying that I feel we're creating social deficiencies through.
No, I think we definitely
reliance
are
on it.
Yeah, there's a certain level of communication skills that most people our age or younger aren't developing as young because they just don't have to talk to people face to face or even over phone line as much. So social interaction in general are kind of changing a lot. Mm-hmm. But I think that the way people are changing in their communication, the world is changing at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I don't think there's going to be this big gap of a bunch of people who don't know how to communicate with each other. I think our social structure and how we interact with each other is going to follow suit to how that we've learned it as we've gotten older.
Communication will be different.
I don't think the gap is so significant that it outweighs the benefits of technology. So
another point I had with that was that I feel this generation will be the most prone to obesity in U.S. history as a result of the advancement in technology.
Why?
Well, we've seen obesity rates rise constantly as more jobs are becoming reliant on technology.
So why would you think that they wouldn't keep rising?
No,
obesity rates, that's what
he
I'm
does
saying.
think they keep well.
No, but I thought he said this generation will be the most obese.
Yeah.
Ever?
Yeah,
or
no,
just
right? Up to this point.
Not including future.
Yeah, no.
So that's one of my arguments against technology at a younger age, because I feel kids aren't getting out as much, playing outside, working to develop themselves physically, and instead they're inside on their phones.
Yeah. I think there's been a stress on it, though. Things have changed within the last year or two.
Okay.
The importance of activity and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even though I agree, I think this will be the most obese generation.
Yeah, I think it probably is. If you look at numbers, it probably is right now.
But also partially because we just have a lot more people. Each year you're going to have a lot more people.
Yeah.
So, you kind of have to look at percentages, I guess.
But Apple and all the people creating technology are definitely keeping in mind that they want people to stay active. If you have an Apple Watch, they have watch faces and they remind you whenever you're not being active enough.
That's a good point.
And then Fitbits are becoming very popular, and they're making it like a game. If you've ever had a Fitbit in the app, you can race. You basically just have a competition with your friends to see who got the most steps that day, which makes being active a lot more fun. And it has me excited to get a new Fitbit for Christmas.
I'm gonna race all my friends.
Yeah, because my friends Pasha and Tom, they're always talking about who gets the most steps in a day and stuff. But yeah, they're definitely keeping it in mind. Or also, this probably isn't as good, but remember how the Wii, whenever you play the Wii for a long amount of time, it'd be get the fuck outside. What are you doing here?
We're not allowed to use the F word on the podcast. We're going to have to cut that. No naughty language here.
Sorry about that, folks.
Sorry about that.
Excuse my friends.
We're trying to restrain ourselves.
Yeah.
John.
But I always...
Fucking stupid.
I think that's less helpful, because whenever that message would come up, I just get annoyed with them.
Exactly.
They're no, I'm staying inside the rest of the day.
Shut up, Nintendo.
Like on Netflix, it's like, are you still watching this?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm still watching it.
Why are you trying to make me feel so bad?
Yeah, that always just makes me feel like crap. I'm like, yeah, I've been watching this for 5 hours, but that's what I want to do on my Saturday.
Yeah.
Who are you to decide?
But yeah, luckily as technology advances, people get smarter as well because we know more and we're able to learn more from our phones and from the internet. So as people get smarter, they realize, oh, being fat's bad. Right. And they get up and they work out at least once a day or whatever.
I don't know. I just see little kids.
Also,
go ahead.
Yeah. What else will help us is social media actually would help us want to be skinnier because we're just, especially for girls, because you're like, oh, look at all these skinny, hot women. I need to go run on the treadmill.
No, I agree.
I don't know about that.
I honestly think, that's one of the main reasons people work out is I want to look good for the opposite
Especially
gender.
like high school, college age kids.
Yeah. They're like, that's the one, like, when like my friends over the summer like berated me once, like, what, the number one reason you work out isn't for girls? And I was like, no, I'm just trying to stay healthy. And they just like kept, I don't know.
Sure, John.
That's what they said.
Even like that, like I felt at least a little part of you's doing it for like girls and stuff.
Yeah, there's
like
still,
I do.
Yeah,
like for sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be like fat and sit in my room and like not do anything.
It's hard to get girls that way, but I see what you're saying a little bit there. I don't know if social media necessarily is the deciding factor on whether you're going to work out or not. But
no, he just said it helps.
Oh, social media can also hurt though, because now there's like this movement that's like being fat's okay.
Well, it's not.
Like
guys.
don't body shame me. Like there's all that stuff as well. So social media can hurt as well. Make fat people think like, oh, I am who I am.
I'm not going to judge anybody based on their life choices. They can make their own choices.
I do. I'll admit it.
But at the same time,
probably subconsciously judge people.
Yeah,
too.
You're a liar, Michael.
Yeah,
Michael's a liar.
But at the same time, living a healthier life is probably a positive thing, you know. So
yeah,
I'm
I
triggered.
don't know.
Yeah.
Hope you not get diseases.
Claire's pretty skinny. How come you don't want Claire to be fat?
You're just selfish.
That's pretty selfish.
I mean, I mean, she's great the way she is.
Oh, look at this lie.
Good answer.
Okay, so Matt,
moving on.
What do you got, Matt?
My topic is oddly kind of related.
Same with mine.
Well, great minds think alike.
Yeah, I guess so.
So my topic, I was thinking about this when I was on Instagram the other day, and I was thinking about how with all the pictures that people post all the time, and even kind of like with Snapchat, I guess, is that you're always putting like filters or like adding in images, like other pictures into your image, and I just thought I feel like it's gonna seem really tacky in like several years when we're like looking back at old photos we've had. So I guess to state it, correct me if I'm wrong, but filters and additives to pictures are dumb and tacky. So, I've always I've used filters before because sometimes it can like improve the quality of an image, like it can enhance colors or stuff like that. But I just think in general, like when we're looking back at photos, we'll be like, oh, it's got that dumb filter on it that I didn't care for. Wish I had just taken it in regular or whatever. Because like I've looked at like old photos that like my parents have had or like my grandparents had, and you can always kind of like tell where they are in the year by like their quality or kind of the way the photo looks. And I think we've kind of lost that. It may just be a fact, like a result of that our cameras are really good now and that they all kind of look the same. But I don't know. I think we just kind of lost a bit of the charm of a lot of photos.
Yeah.
But I also feel like older people hate their old pictures.
Because they look like
I don't
crap.
know.
Why do you think that?
Maybe.
I just feel like they think it's stupid, like their big hair and stuff that they had. I don't know.
That's true.
Or maybe like the quality of photos.
I want to know if like it's just, like old people, like my mom and like
old people like my mom.
Mrs. George, we're very sorry.
I would
slamming your own mother,
my grandma, just like people older than us.
Okay.
I want to know how like beneficial taking photos were for them, and like how often they look in photo albums and stuff like that. Because right now I'm at a part of my life where I look at all my Google photos and all that stuff, and I'm like, how often am I going to go through all of this and say, wow, this is so amazing?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of a different thing, too, is we've got way more photos now than people in the past have ever had. Just because with
it's so much easier.
Our storage capacity, we can have thousands of pictures in the same space that you could keep, like, 50 normally. Like, people would have to have photo albums full of books, full of actual physical photos. Now we can just keep thousands of them, tens of thousands on hard drives if we wanted to.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, but going back to your filters thing, I never really use filters, but I think if I ever have like sometimes I save my Snapchat photos and I feel like I'm going to come back to those, and like sometimes I like wrote something in them or something. I'm like, this is stupid. Why can't I just save why can't I just save a picture of me without a stupid like one-liner I said to try to make people laugh?
Snapchat's a little different because it's more like communicated. Whereas, like, I guess my main example is Instagram, because like people are putting their best out there, like photos they think look really good, and I just think throwing filters on them is just gonna kind of seem like cheap in the future, because it wasn't anything like you put effort into with the photo or anything. It's just like you swiped left 3 times and you got the look of the photo you wanted.
Yeah,
it's kind of taken a lot of the nuance of picture taking out of it. You don't need to do it as well.
I don't really post Instagram ever. You post Instagram sometimes. What do you?
Those pictures of Peyton.
Oh, I don't.
Occasionally.
Not really. I don't know. It's kind of interesting if you think about it. I mean, like, I do use them, but like sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
I just feel like sometimes it does make the picture like better quality or brings out the colors better.
Yeah.
I don't think that unless you're just like drastically changing yourself, then like I don't see a problem with it, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like maybe girls who like used Photoshop to make themselves look skinnier will feel a little stupid. Yeah. Like in the future, they'll be like, okay, like this actually isn't me.
Or like
that's the point of a picture, is to capture yourself at the time, right?
Like, what if you think about it and like, you know how we look at old pictures and like can kind of tell like how bad of quality it is? Yeah. Like maybe in the future, like kids are gonna be able to tell like how photoshopped a picture is and like realize how stupid you made yourself look. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how we dated ourselves. Yeah. By photoshopping our pictures.
Maybe we're just dating ourselves.
Yeah.
What'd be interesting is that being so like with photos being so oversaturated with Photoshop, is that if people in the future have got like a really keen eye as to when they can spot that. Yeah. Because pretty much any image we see nowadays in a magazine or anything is going to be, enhanced in some way. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Do you think filters will be a thing 20 years from now?
I don't know. Instagram wasn't a thing, 5 years ago?
There are going to be filters to make it so it really looks like Justin Bieber's in the picture with you or something like that. That's going to be the future. Yeah. I mean, they're getting there. The filters are literally just going to be easy Photoshops.
I mean, the Snapchat things where they scan your face and put stuff on it, I thought that was like super cool first time I saw it. Yeah. It still is. It's cool technology that's come pretty far.
More and more filters.
For a dumb app, it's cool technology.
Yeah, more and more filters are just going to make photos more superficial and stupid, just like Photoshop did.
Thanks a lot, Snapchat.
And end that conversation on a positive note.
Yep. We're all going to die. Dakin, you want to go?
What?
No, I want you to go.
Oh, saving the best for last.
Someone thinks this topic is pretty good.
So mine is also about phones.
Wow.
Welcome to the technology podcast.
But this one is about... so I've been like a huge phone geek my entire life.
Nerd.
I'm a nerd. Ever since I got like the first Droid by Motorola when I was in like 7th grade or 8th grade. And I made like a Facebook fan page called Droid Does. Try to get my friends to like that.
But, that sounds so cool.
Yeah. Still own that page and get notifications from it.
Oh god.
Yeah, people are still liking it. It's around like 200, 300 likes. So
wow.
I'll take credit for it. But I've been a huge phone geek. I've always been excited when new phones were announced and new technology was announced, and I was a huge Apple fanboy, and lately that has dropped off. So my correct me if I'm wrong is correct me if I'm wrong, but the phone revolutions of the past 6 years, as far as hardware and technology goes, pale in comparison to revolutions and innovations that were made from the first iPhone to the iPhone 3GS to the iPhone 4, and that's where the innovations stopped.
I've
never had an iPhone.
Of cell phone models.
All
in my
right.
head.
iPhone 4
Sure.
is still considered one of the best sort of redesigns of all time in a phone. It was where it's the iPhone that first did sort of like the boxed model, like kind of what
Instead
the
of the
iPhone
rounded?
5, what
Okay.
the iPhone 5 looked like too. And with the glass back, they added Retina display. So before phones, if you remember, phone screens looked like absolute trash. If you look at an old iPod
You're
or an old
trash.
iPhone, you can literally see the pixels of icons and stuff, and it's disgusting. Retina display came in iPhone 4, which was the most beautiful display for us to see in a phone. The front-facing camera, that's a pretty big innovation. Snapchat,
True.
a lot selfies.
John has a boner right
True.
now.
Invented a new
Yeah.
word.
Invented a new word. Yes. What else came? Multitasking, where you double press home and you go to a different app. Came with the iPhone 4.
What's the argument again? So
That was like this. The iPhone 4 was the last time Apple truly revolutionized a phone.
okay.
And I'll tell you that from the iPhone, we'll go from iPhone 5 to 7. I brought together like all the hardware features they did. Touch ID, which they copied from Android. Force Touch, which is like a rip-off of sort of Android's long press thing. Double camera, which is kind of cool actually. They got rid of the headphone jack, and I think that's pretty much it. I think there's and they basically just made phone screens bigger, which is also copying Android. They were doing that for a while.
Okay.
So I'm going to counter with they did add in the first AI that's ever been
Siri.
seen on a phone in the second.
Siri was
that you-
4S. I said, well, yeah,
You said through 4.
yeah, I guess so. But I meant to count the 4S in it.
Well, that's a change of the question.
It's not, but that's still 6 years ago. It's been 6 years since Apple has truly revolutionized anything.
Well, I mean, I think that's part of their business strategy is that they don't always have to come out with, big, brand new, expensive features. They can make marginal features and still sell millions and millions of phones. I think that, they've got some smart people there. They know how often they have to truly make big changes in the phone to, keep their user base or keep their loyalty. Like, I'd say their big feature this time is that the fact that it's waterproof. You can.
Oh yeah, waterproof was the other one I forgot.
Yeah, I mean, everyone complains about the
Water
headphone
resistant.
Yeah, water resistant. My bad.
jack.
Not waterproof. You're right.
Take it for like 30 minutes in water,
I
whatever.
thought that was Androids.
Androids.
Or like my Galaxy. That
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
It
both.
is. That's
iPhone
also
7
iPhone.
and this are both water resistant.
So they also copied Android on that.
No.
That's why Apple's a piece of shit.
Well,
Yeah.
mine has a headphone jack, so yeah.
Apple's always been a scam from the very beginning.
All right.
Why?
But Matt actually might be right though.
Of course,
This might be they might have the technology to innovate real fast and put those features in a long time ago. Clearly, water resistance was there before they did it. Samsung's
Well,
been doing it for like 2 or 3 phones now.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
water resistant.
I watched 16 Minutes about Apple, and they said they have their next 3 released phones already ready.
Yep. It's probably all a part of a plan.
Yeah, so they know, like, based on how the market reacts to their phone releases, like, what to do next.
Yeah.
But,
So-
like, I've never had an iPhone, but I feel like all my friends that do have iPhones, nothing's really changed for them besides they've gotten bigger, they have better camera quality, and that's about it.
And no matter, I never like to count camera quality in like iPhone or in like phone like innovations because cameras are just always going to be better than phone cameras. So that's not really an innovation because there's something better out there that can take a picture.
Yeah. But I mean, most people who are going to buy an iPhone no matter what happens to it because they just don't care. You know, they're into the Apple ecosystem. They've probably got all their music, you know, everything they own kind of stored with Apple, so they're just going to keep buying it because they, you know, need a battery upgrade and a camera upgrade. You know, I think Apple knows that, you know, they can hold on to the majority of their user base without doing a whole lot. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. People are still going to buy them and be perfectly happy with them. But, you know.
Speaking of revolutions, when I was researching this topic, because this all came about because I got an Android this year because I was sick of iPhones, because I don't get a technology boner anymore when they announce new phones. So I was like, oh.
I'm sorry.
I was like, Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge is getting some of the best reviews, and it's truly an innovation with the Edge screen. But Google recently released their messaging app, and the one thing they suck at is just messaging in general. They made like 5 messaging apps. They have no clue what they're doing. So I got really mad at them, and I was like, what is the iPhone next year going to be like? It's the 10th anniversary of iPhone, and if this iPhone is like this, then they have once again revolutionized phones, which is insane. I want to tell you what
technology boner is at full mass.
Yes, it is. Jony Ive, the designer for Apple, said that he wants one day for the phone to be just glass, just like glass, and this might be the phone that does it.
Okay.
They're getting rid of the home button. They're making it so the front face of the camera is like hidden.
Okay.
The whole front thing is just going to be the screen.
Okay.
It's going to have the edge-to-edge thing like Samsung, so I guess they copied it again. And there's going to be wireless charging, not the wireless charging Samsung made where you put it on,
like
or if you put it on a mat.
Yeah.
Literally wireless. Like
Yeah.
it's you plug something in the wall, you can be up to 15 feet away from it, and your phone's charging.
Interesting.
Whoa.
I
Yeah.
never understood how they do that. Then again, I'm not that smart.
Yeah, which is why I think it's an innovation, because I have no clue how they would do that.
I mean, it's cool.
And they're
kind
working
of
on it.
Probably similar to Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, the thing is, Wi-Fi transmits a signal, and it's like a back and forth, like a TV cable, or antenna. But
Well, that's what it'd have to be. It'd have to be like.
but it's really interesting how you can, because like a battery is like an activation reaction of chemicals, and so it's like interesting how something that's not directly connected might be able to stimulate that.
Yeah. I'm interested to learn more about it.
I mean, I think you throw around the word revolutionize a little too, I don't know, haphazardly.
Probably.
It's a big flat screen, and you can stand 15 feet from an outlet. Whoop-de-doo. I mean,
I
you
guess
can't do a whole lot with
But-
15 feet.
But I mean,
Might as well plug it in or slap it on a mat.
you've never
It's
been
wild.
able to charge anything without direct contact.
It's true.
So I don't know. I think that's.
I mean, it's an advancement. I wouldn't call it revolutionary.
I don't know. I've thought about that
It's
too
cool,
with like a TV. Like, what if you had a TV next to an outlet? You could just plug it in. You wouldn't have to worry about the cords. But you could somehow power it.
Cord-free world.
Exactly. I mean, if this is the beginning, which I'm still waiting for that holographic typing screen that Apple put out in a video in a teaser a few years back. But
I think that was just like a
actually happened.
fan-made video.
Yeah, that must have. I think that was fan-made.
Well, it still ticks me off.
Holographic keyboard.
So.
They're probably figuring out if that would actually be better than just a, like...
Oh,
screen.
it wouldn't be. But I think it would be cool.
But it looked really cool.
It would look really cool.
Okay, well,
Alright.
Dakin, thrill us.
Shit, I don't know which topic to pick.
Oh,
He's
Oh,
got
man.
so many topics. Pick one that gets us...
That good.
Sorry.
try to pick one that.
Pick one that riles us up.
For God's sake,
Pick one that sort of, like, gets us angry at each other.
something about phones.
Um,
Oh dear.
Alright. There's 2 parts to this, actually.
Oh my god.
The first part is, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the Bible could be just a made-up story
Oh,
And we're back.
Because if you think about it, like back in the day, back with old Jesus and everybody, their only way of entertainment was like passing down stories and stuff. So like we have all these different religions now, and if you think about it, they could just all be like different versions of the same story. And I mean, that's pretty much what they are, really, when it comes down to it. Like, they're either different people or they're like an event happened a different way or something like that. And then also the second part to that is, I don't know about your guys' experience, but I feel like religious people are more judgmental than people who don't really go to church or associate themselves with being religious.
Hi, Dakin. So, the first part that I just want to bring up is, so you're arguing that the Bible could be fake, which, I mean, it's been proposed a lot of times, but one thing that a lot of people point to is when Jesus was crucified in Jerusalem, he rose, and the Apostle Paul had a letter that he wrote to the people telling him Jesus had risen. They didn't believe him. Jesus came around, he said hi to everybody, and he left. And Paul had that letter signed by almost everyone in the town, acknowledging that they had seen a man rise from the dead. And
yeah, but
that letter is still around today.
That could easily be fabricated, though. Easily. Like, think about it scientifically. Think about it just reasonably. Like, if someone arose from the dead today, right now, what would you think? Would you think that's possible?
No.
Exactly.
I understand that, but at the
but
same
just this one person, this one person that supposedly existed, that was God's son.
All right. Before we go on with this argument, let's just want to take a minute to talk to the listeners. Dakin's opinions are his own opinions. Michael's are his own opinions. If you get offended by either, please don't just stop listening to the podcast.
Also, I want to say that my best friend is Catholic, so it's not like I have a problem with religious people. I'm just saying, like, hypothetically.
Yeah.
I'm your best friend.
Matt is not my best friend.
All right. Well, what's like your exact? Correct me if I'm wrong here.
That it's possible that it was just a story that was made up that turned into something more, because people wanted a good story. Like, if you think about it, it's really just a good versus evil story.
So what would be your argument against it?
What, that it could be made up?
Yeah,
or
why
that
do you think
or
it
that
could
it
be
could
made
not
up?
be?
Why do you think people would have made it up?
Because that's what stories are. They're made up.
So why do you think that one of all would be
one
that's like which is most recognized? Like, that's the top selling book in the world. It has been for years and years. Why do you think this would be? How do you think something this big, something that has almost every end tied up, why do you think that could be fake?
I mean, it's not like I'm just calling it fake. Like, other religions say that it didn't happen that way.
I understand that.
So, I mean, it's like...
Here's another option. What if... So when the Bible was written, was it for the purpose of writing, like, the Bible for this religion? Was it?
So, originally, the Old Testament was written under Judaism. Do you guys understand that?
Jews,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus was Jewish.
Yeah.
And so, but the Jewish people denied that Jesus was the Messiah and the Savior. And so, and I'm not saying it was just the Jewish, but there were people who crucified him because they disagreed. However, others who were Jewish converted to what is now known as Christianity. So, the original purpose of the Bible was to... And I'm not saying everything in the Bible is factual, because, I don't believe that the universe was created in 7 days.
Yeah, that just doesn't seem realistic. Like, right. the whole God part, I don't buy that. Like, did Jesus...
like, God guy?
Did Jesus,
just don't buy him.
Did Jesus get crucified? Yeah, probably. I mean, he had a good reason to. Like, he believed something that the king didn't. But...
So, like, if you were to go to his tomb today, would you just, like, think that someone stole the body? Is that why he rose away?
I mean, it could. Like, you have grave robbers and, like, pyramids and stuff. So, I mean, I don't see how that would be any different.
Well, I mean, the tomb was guarded.
Well, that's kind of the goal of the pyramid, too.
Right.
What if the Bible is just I believe the Bible was written to be like a story, like a parable. Like,
I think it's
This
like
is how-
I don't think that everything in the Bible is completely accurate. I think it's a lot.
I'm
it's
saying
very
what I think. Yeah, that's what I think.
Go
I think
for
the
it.
Bible was a parable. It's not real things that happened. It's like meant to teach people what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you say like the phrase the Bible has been written and translated and rewritten
This is true.
innumerable times throughout history.
That's what I'm
Stuff's
saying.
been
It could have
edited, taken
happened like
out.
back in the day that way also.
Yeah.
So
I just think it's something that like people could rally behind, and it took off to be something bigger than what it was meant to be. Even though like it might have been based, you know how like we have movies now that are like based off a true story.
Yeah.
It could be like something like that, but like I think there's parts in it that like to make it sound better or like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's also by, Michael's bringing up the point as to why Christianity has become so big it is today. It's mostly, a large part of it is because that, other religions have been killed off through wars, and that, a little bit by luck, you could argue that Christianity has become so big. Same way Islam has become so big through conquering lands and, making it law that this area has to be under a certain religion. That's just kind of how it's
But
been
also,
throughout
like,
history.
Christianity is a very broad, like, religion because, like, there are some, like, branches of Christianity that very different, very
there's very different moral
greatly
values.
on, like, major subjects. Like, the biggest parts of the Bible, they differ a lot on that, so...
But that happens with a lot of religions as well.
Yeah.
It depends on geographical areas and time. People.
I just feel like if it was something that actually happened, there wouldn't be like interpretations of it. Like that would be like what it is. It'd be a nonfiction story.
Something that long ago, you're always going to get
I agree with Matt. I think there's
muddling
always
in
going to
there.
be different interpretations of it, and that's why there's muddling with it. So one thing that separates Christianity from any other religion is there's nothing on earth you can like physically do. Like if you, there are obviously rights and wrongs, but
Are there? According to who, Michael?
well, that's
According to the law.
According to God.
But the thing is that the foundation on it is that by accepting Jesus Christ as your Savior, that is your gateway to heaven. And there isn't any like X, Y, and Z that you have to accomplish outside of that. He was God, he was the Son of God, and he died for our sins, and then confess your sins to him. That's all you have to do. And
How
that's
is that, remarkably different from other religions?
So with most other religions, there are like fundamental principles that are supposed to be followed throughout life. The 12 pillars of Islam, for example.
I like the 10 Commandments.
The 10 Commandments.
Got him.
So with the 10 Commandments,
Good.
if you break one of the 10 Commandments, it's not like an automatic death, like hell sentence.
Wait, how come like in Catholics they have to confess their sins in order to be like cleansed or whatever?
So
like you can do whatever you want as long as you admit it, then you're good.
Well, it's not exactly like I'll do whatever I want because I can get away with it. It's more of like, I mean, at the end of the day, God's going to judge your heart, which is what like Christians believe. He will judge your heart to see if you truly regret your sins.
Yeah,
I mean, if
it's
I go
not
out-
the act; it's like the meaning behind
Exactly.
it, technically.
Yeah.
Which you can interpret that to be in favor if you think that's a good thing or not. If you truly feel bad about doing something, do you really deserve redemption? That's up to the individual or God.
I don't know, man. I believe in science. I'll buy it whenever I see it.
I believe in science also.
Good old Al Einstein.
Also,
Yeah,
not
it's
on
interesting.
Michael's side. I'm just kind of in the
I want to
middle.
bring up an interesting point you said about science. So in Genesis, in the very first part of Genesis, it
That
says...
Terminator movie?
Terminator Genesis.
It
First
said,
act.
there was light. That's one of the first parts of it. There was light. God said, let there be light. There was light. The sun hadn't been created yet. That actually confirms the Big Bang. In the Big Bang, there was like an explosion, and light was formed, and then the stars were created. Genesis, written so long before science even had the idea of a Big Bang, actually like goes along with the Big Bang.
Pulling your...
Which I think
stretching
is...
it. I think here. We're pulling
not
straws
buying
at this point.
You're not buying that? Okay.
No.
I'm not going to sit here and argue with you
either.
about that, but I just thought that was something really cool that was brought to my attention less than a year ago. And so,
I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible, just like I'm not saying the Bible could be completely real and God could be real, but I'm saying that there's a possibility that it's just made up. That was a, correct me if I'm wrong. And I also had a second part of that religious people are more judgmental, which no one else has chimed in on.
This is kind of attacking people.
I don't
Not really.
consider
Not
myself
like-
a judgmental
It's a good
person.
conversation.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, they probably are because they're taught to be. Like,
Are we?
well, like with the Ten Commandments and
Yeah.
sinning
Well,
and stuff, it's like...
I mean, Dakin and I had talked about this before, as I think, there's kind of a natural judgmentness that comes out of, stoutly religious people because they're taught that they're being judged by an upper or a greater being, God. So, I think in general you're just going to be more critical of others' actions because you feel you're being criticized as well. So it's kind of like, I don't know, fairness or something like that. Not everyone is like that, and I think every single person on earth is judgmental in some way.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would say I don't think that religious people are more likely to be judgmental. I'd actually probably say the opposite because we're kind of taught, I mean, at least I've always been taught like through the church that we need to be accepting of all peoples, and like through that, like hopefully they can like see God and like see Him through us. That's what I've always been taught.
Or they'll burn in hell.
That's not.
That's not true.
So,
Yeah, both sides make sense. Like, they're being, like... There's probably some subconscious judgment, but they're also taught, like, be accepting. So...
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I judge somebody. I don't judge any of you that you're not religious. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
Michael's not
Yeah,
a
Michael
judgmental
doesn't say
religious
anything.
person for sure, so...
I respect your opinions. I don't necessarily agree with them, but I respect them.
I respect yours too, sir.
And I appreciate that.
We all respect your opinion, Michael.
Fuck all of you.
I respect your shirt.
Although I would say like not just Michael, but say somebody like Michael that's like pretty religious. Like if he was our roommate, and I feel like if I just was like sitting here just like blazing a doobie or like bringing home different girls every night or something, they would judge like me and the girl. I don't know. I feel like
I don't care if I'm religious or not. I'd probably judge you for that.
See?
Normal person would judge you for...
That's my point.
I don't think.
maybe.
I think anyone would judge you for that. I don't know. I see what you meant though about some people. Maybe there's a little more overlap than than others, but
yeah.
I'd say in general, I don't think that's
I don't know. I
noticed
said
you've been blazing too many dudes.
Bring
you
in
like
too
to-
many girls. You have a girlfriend. What do you do?
Simon, too
That's a
many
sin.
honeys.
Would you like to read the book of Romans with me?
Wow.
I just
done?
said in my experience.
Yeah. Okay.
Does anyone have anything else to say about religion?
No.
Should I take it to our write-in? Someone wrote in.
Or right in it.
Let's go.
Yep.
Words are hard.
Who is it?
His name's Brett.
What a name. Thanks for listening, Brat.
Really didn't. Much like Jamie from last week, didn't do a correct me if I'm wrong. Just bringing up a topic, really.
Damn it, fans.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Brett says, "What's up, guys? I just saw Nike's releasing self-tying shoes. Could that be the way of the future? Are shoestrings a thing of the past?"
Now, how long before our evil robot AI ties our shoelaces together and tricks us?
Have you actually seen these shoes though?
No.
Okay, so like you put your shoes on your feet. They look like shoelaces.
Okay.
So like you put it on your feet, and then like there's sensors in the bottom of it. So when you have weight on it, the strings tighten to like form to your foot. So like they won't like go too tight or too loose. They just form to your foot, and that's when they stop. Because there's sensors all during the bottom and around the back.
How do you get them off?
Press a button. Of course, they don't come off, guys.
The shoes have a mind of their own, and then they squeeze your feet until they break
fall
them.
off. No circulation.
My first thought would be, as you're walking, they're like untying and tying.
I don't know. I'm a little worried.
I'm curious how they work.
What if they made it?
This is based off like those Back to the Future. Did they have self-tying shoes?
There actually are a pair of Air Yeezys that have tied their shoes themselves for years. They sell for about $1,500.
Okay, so that's pretty affordable.
My point was going to be, I'll wait till it's cheaper to try.
But honestly, I think I'm going to get a pair.
Yeah.
Really? So
Yeah.
How much are they now?
I don't
How much
know.
is this?
I haven't really looked
Did
into
they just
it.
like?
I just
Do
saw
they
it.
have like a physical, like in physical form, or is it just like a?
No, like it's
mock-up?
releasing.
It's releasing soon.
Yeah,
That's
like
cool.
at the end of the month.
End of the month.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I can't wait for the first news story of someone's
guys-
feet losing circulation because their
Just
shoes
falling off.
malfunctioned and
Yeah.
suffocated
I
their
don't
foot.
know.
And they
Have you guys seen
crumble over.
iCarly?
I have seen
Yeah.
iCarly. Great show.
The
by the way.
episode where they had the like wear those shoes that had like Wi-Fi in them.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
And then they like all their fans got mad at them. That's what's gonna happen.
Okay, so like,
Dakin's gonna have like
okay, so like
malfunctions.
here's
in
an
his shoe.
example of like what they look like. Everyone get that real quick so we can
Well,
keep
that looks
talking.
pretty cool.
Looks like a shoe.
That looks
Viewers,
pretty
you can
cool.
see that?
You
Okay.
guys see that? It looks cool.
Yeah, shoe.
It's a shoe.
So I don't know how they work or anything, but I'm gonna get them just to like see what it's like.
All right.
And
I'm gonna spend money on something I don't know. But that's okay.
I feel like it could really take off because it'd be really convenient for like kids to get or for parents to get for their kids that can't tie their shoes yet.
Yeah, and then
And
we
then
don't
they'll
need to
never
learn
learn.
How are we
Never
gonna sing
teach
the
their-
SpongeBob song about tying
Yeah,
your shoe?
true. Wait, but if they never learn
Yeah,
how to tie their
loop
shoe,
it
then
cool.
it would be the end of shoelaces because nobody know how to use them.
Yeah.
What about old shoes that I'm gonna like pass down?
Yeah, you
You're gonna
can't.
pass
No
down your
hand-me-downs.
shoes?
Give your
I
money.
got passed down like boots from my grandpa.
Give your
Oh,
money
okay,
to
okay.
our Nike overlords, sir.
Good.
No more hand-me-downs.
Nike will make boots also.
Oh man,
Give your cash to them now.
all of it. Oh no.
Yeah.
Anybody else gonna buy them though?
Not the first version of them.
I'll
I'm
wait to
gonna
see
wait.
if they set your feet on fire.
If I get a free one from Butler University, then I'll wear them.
Yeah, I'll wait till they're norm and when they cost the amount that normal shoes cost now, which is still a lot of money.
Well, like I'm one of those
We'll
people
see.
that never ties their shoes, so I just kind of like knot them, so I never have to tie
Yeah,
them.
that's what I do as well.
And so I feel like they'd be real convenient for me because I hate tying shoes.
Yeah,
That'd be cool. Did they take like? Do you have to charge them or something?
I have no idea.
Probably.
I mainly never. Some days I just don't wear shoes because I'm like too lazy to put socks on. So if they could make shoes that like have socks
They
built in,
do have those.
oh my god, where?
Have you seen them?
They're called slippers.
John needs though, right?
No,
now.
they're not called slippers.
They
They have like a
cool
loose.
though.
They're not bad.
Okay,
They're decent.
okay. So I would love just skipping that sock part where I have to like put
Yeah.
the socks on. I could just stick the shoes on. That'd be awesome.
That'd be pretty great.
Love me some socks.
Oh,
Don't give up my socks.
what an episode! Huh?
Oh man, that was a good one.
Religion.
Long as hell.
Technology.
Yeah, it looks like if you fans didn't notice, both of our episodes of this podcast have been the same exact length. Did you guys know this?
Wow.
Did Matt tell all of
Too
us?
easy.
Yep, that was me.
Yeah, they're both 40 minutes and 35 seconds, but this one is a little bit longer. I will admit it.
Where are we at?
I
That's
think it was better
probably-
topics.
It's probably going to be like 50 minutes.
That's not too
Looks
bad.
like
I
it.
thought it'd be longer.
Yeah, it is not longer.
All right.
More for our audience.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys for listening.
Don't get offended.
Don't get offended for sure.
Or do.
Yeah,
we
we
all
don't
have our
care.
own opinions, and we all accept them, right, guys? But
Nah.
but we
No.
will fist fight after this. There's
Yeah.
going to be a fight. If you guys want to email into the show, much like Brett did today, our email's correct me if I'm wrong, show@gmail.com. Send us in your own opinions and we will criticize you
A
usually. But Brett actually brought us a cool thing to the table, so we didn't criticize him.
Thanks, Brett.
Listen to us on Spreaker.com or subscribe to us on iTunes. Thank you guys for listening.
Twitter?
See you guys next week. Twitter, we have a Twitter. It's CMIIW Podcast is our Twitter handle. Follow us. We pretty much just only tweet out when the episodes come out.
Hey, you'll
But if we get more
followers,
if we get more followers, we will post videos of Michael and Dakin fighting like they usually do after each episode.
Yeah, we'll start a Twitch channel.
We'll start a Twitch channel eventually. Don't worry. See you guys next week.